What if I told you that the plants you choose to grow next to your roses could be the difference between a garden full of vibrant, disease-free blooms and one plagued by aphids, black spot, and disappointing flowers? What if I said that right now, you might be planting something within 3 feet of your roses that's secretly stunting their growth or attracting the exact pests you're trying to avoid? In this video, I'm going to show you the top 5 companion plants that help roses stay healthier, more pest-resistant, and more resilient, and then expose the 3 plants you should never grow near roses. These aren't just design choices. The right companions can reduce pest pressure, improve soil health, and dramatically lower disease problems. And by the end, you'll learn about one plant so toxic to roses, it can damage them from surprisingly far away. Be sure to stay tuned until the end, when I'll reveal a plant that's so toxic to roses, it can kill them from 20 feet away. Now, let's talk about why companion planting actually works in the first place. Roses attract problems: aphids, Japanese beetles, spider mites, black spot, powdery mildew. When roses grow alone, they're easy targets. Companion planting changes that. Certain plants confuse pests with strong scents. Others attract beneficial insects like ladybugs, lacewings, and parasitic wasps that actively hunt rose pests. Instead of fighting nature with chemicals, you use it to protect your garden. Companion 1. Lavender. If there's one plant that belongs next to every rose bush in your garden, it's lavender. And here's why this partnership works so brilliantly. Lavender produces highly aromatic oils in its foliage, compounds like linalool and camphor, that naturally repel common rose pests, particularly aphids. These tiny sap-sucking insects cause distorted growth, spread viruses, and excrete honeydew that leads to sooty mold. When you plant lavender within 2 feet of your roses, the strong scent masks the rose's attractive smell, making them much harder for aphids to locate. But lavender doesn't just repel pests, it actively attracts beneficial pollinators. Bees and butterflies are drawn to lavender's purple flower spikes from early summer through fall. More importantly, many beneficial predatory insects, like hoverflies whose larvae devour aphids, are attracted to lavender's nectar. So you're creating a habitat that supports the good insects while deterring the bad ones. Here's what to do. Plant lavender 18 to 24 inches from the base of your rose bushes. Choose varieties like Hidcote or Munstead for compact growth. Lavender requires minimal maintenance. Just shear back by 1/3 after blooming to maintain shape. You get maximum pest protection with minimal effort. While lavender creates a protective barrier through scent, but the next companion takes a different approach by attracting an army of pest predators. Companion 2. Catmint. Catmint is one of the most underrated rose companions in the gardening world. This perennial herb brings multiple benefits that make your roses healthier and more resilient. The primary advantage of catmint is its ability to attract beneficial predatory insects. The small, tubular flowers produce abundant nectar that draws in parasitic wasps, lacewings, and predatory beetles. These beneficial insects are voracious consumers of aphids, spider mites, and other soft-bodied pests that plague roses. By planting catmint near your roses, you're essentially hiring biological pest control that works 24 hours a day. But catmint also has direct pest repellent properties. The aromatic foliage contains nepetolactone, which repels Japanese beetles. These metallic green beetles can skeletonize rose leaves and destroy blooms in days. Studies have shown that roses planted near catmint experience up to 40% fewer Japanese beetle attacks compared to roses planted alone. Catmint acts as both a repellent barrier and a beneficial insect magnet. These plants thrive in the same full-sun, well-drained conditions as roses and is extremely low maintenance once established. Here's what to do. Plant catmint 2 to 3 feet from rose bushes. Walker's Low is an excellent variety that grows 12 to 18 inches tall. After the first flush of blooms fades in midsummer, shear the entire plant back by half to encourage fresh growth and a second wave of flowers. You get season-long pest protection and continuous blooms with just one mid-season trim. When you combine lavender's scent masking with catmint's beneficial insect attraction, you're building layers of protection. But the next companion adds another crucial element: soil health. Companion 3. Marigolds. Marigolds have been garden companions for centuries. and their partnership with roses is particularly powerful. But not all marigolds are created equal. French marigolds, Tagetes patula, are the variety you want near roses. These compact plants produce compounds in their roots called alpha-terthianol that are toxic to root knot nematodes. These microscopic soil-dwelling worms attack rose roots, causing stunted growth, yellowing leaves, and poor flowering. When you plant French marigolds around your roses, you're actually treating the soil and protecting the root system from these invisible pests. But marigolds offer above-ground benefits too. The pungent scent of marigold foliage repels aphids, whiteflies, and some species of beetles. Additionally, marigolds attract hoverflies, those bee-like insects whose larvae are voracious aphid predators. A single hoverfly larva can consume up to 60 aphids per day. A border of marigolds around your rosebed becomes both a pest deterrent and a beneficial insect nursery. From a practical standpoint, marigolds are among the easiest annuals to grow. They thrive in full sun, tolerate a wide range of soil conditions, and bloom continuously from late spring until frost with minimal deadheading. Here's what to do. Plant French marigolds in a continuous border around your rose beds, spacing them 6 to 8 inches apart. For maximum nematode control, you need substantial marigold root mass in the soil, so plant generously. At season's end, chop the marigold plants and work them into the soil as green manure. Even as they decompose, they continue releasing nematode-suppressing compounds. Now, are there times when marigolds aren't necessary? Absolutely. If you're gardening in containers or in areas without nematode pressure, you might choose other companions. But the next plant offers benefits that work in any rose garden. Companion 4. Alliums. When we talk about alliums as rose companions, we're referring to ornamental onions, those spectacular globe-shaped flowers that bloom in late spring and early summer. All members of the allium family contain sulfur compounds that give them their characteristic pungent smell. These compounds are highly effective at repelling a wide range of rose pests, including aphids, Japanese beetles, and even deer and rabbits. Planting ornamental alliums among your roses creates a protective barrier that keeps multiple pest species at bay. But alliums offer an additional benefit that's particularly important for rose health. Research has shown that alliums help prevent fungal diseases, particularly black spot. The sulfur compounds released by allium roots have mild antifungal properties that can reduce fungal spore germination in the surrounding soil. Roses planted near alliums often show fewer black spot symptoms and require less fungicide intervention. These dramatic blooms appear in May and June, perfectly timed with the first major flush of rose blooms. Here's what to do. Plant allium bulbs in fall, positioning them in clusters of 5 to 7 bulbs among your rose bushes. Space bulbs 6 to 8 inches apart and plant them at a depth 3 times the bulb's height. Choose varieties with different heights for layered interest. You create layers of pest protection at different heights while adding spectacular spring interest. While alliums protect through chemistry, the next companion uses a different strategy entirely. Companion 5. Salvia. Salvias, particularly perennial varieties like Salvia nemorosa, are outstanding rose companions that bring multiple benefits to your garden. The primary benefit of salvia is its exceptional ability to attract pollinators and beneficial insects. Bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds are drawn to salvia's tubular flowers. But more importantly for rose health, salvias attract parasitic wasps and predatory beetles that feed on aphids, thrips, and other rose pests. By planting salvias near roses, you're maintaining a standing army of pest predators. Salvias also have aromatic foliage that helps deter some pests, particularly deer and rabbits. The slightly minty, herbal smell of salvia leaves adds another layer of sensory confusion that makes roses less obvious targets. From a growing perspective, salvias are perfectly matched to roses. They thrive in full sun and well-drained soil, tolerate drought once established, and bloom better with the same moderate fertilization that benefits roses. The vertical flower spikes of salvia provide excellent contrast to the rounded form of rose bushes. Here's what to do. Plant salvias 18 to 24 inches from rose bushes. Choose varieties like Maynite or Caradonna to complement your rose colors. After the first flush of blooms, cut flower spikes back to encourage a second round of flowering. You get season-long blooms and continuous beneficial insect habitat. So those are the top 5 companions that will transform your rose garden. But now we need to talk about the plants you must keep at a distance, because some of them can do real damage. But before we do, go ahead and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of our future garden videos. Now that you know what to plant with roses, let's expose what you should never plant near them. These 3 plants either compete aggressively for resources, release toxic chemicals, or harbor diseases that jump to roses. Number 1. Avoid fennel. Fennel seems like such a useful plant, attractive, edible, and loved by pollinators. So what's the problem? Fennel is allelopathic, and it's particularly toxic to roses. Fennel releases phenolic compounds from both its living roots and its decaying plant material. These chemicals actively inhibit root development and nutrient uptake in nearby plants, and roses are especially sensitive. When you plant fennel anywhere near roses, even 10 to 15 feet away, your roses will show symptoms of nutrient deficiency even if the soil is rich. Because this happens underground and invisibly, most gardeners never connect fennel to their struggling roses. The allelopathic effects of fennel can persist in soil for an entire growing season, even after the plant is removed. Here's what to do instead. If you love fennel for cooking, grow it in a dedicated container at least 15 feet from any rose plantings. Dispose of all fennel plant trimmings in municipal yard waste, never in your compost pile. You can enjoy culinary fennel without poisoning your roses. While fennel uses chemical warfare, the next plant uses a weapon that's even more devastating. Number 2, avoid black walnut trees. If you have a black walnut tree anywhere within 50 feet of where you want to grow roses, you need to understand juglone toxicity. Black walnut trees produce a chemical called juglone in their roots, leaves, hulls, and wood. This compound is highly toxic to roses. Juglone interferes with cellular respiration in susceptible plants. When rose roots encounter juglone in the soil, they literally cannot produce the energy needed for growth. You'll see wilting that doesn't respond to watering, yellowing leaves, stunted growth, and eventually plant death. But here's what makes black walnut particularly insidious. The juglone zone extends far beyond the tree's canopy. Black walnut roots can spread 50 to 80 feet from the trunk, and they release juglone throughout this entire root zone. Even if you plant roses outside the obvious root zone, falling debris can contaminate your rose beds. There is no treatment for juglone toxicity once it occurs. You cannot amend the soil to neutralize it. Here's what to do instead. Plant roses at least 80 feet away from any black walnut trunk. Never use black walnut leaves, hulls, or wood chips as mulch anywhere in your garden. You avoid the heartbreak of watching expensive rose plants die from invisible toxicity. That's devastating enough, but the final plant creates problems through disease transmission. Number 3, avoid tomatoes. This one surprises many gardeners because tomatoes seem like they'd be fine near roses. But tomatoes and roses share common diseases, and planting them together creates a disease superhighway. The primary concern is verticillium wilt, a soil-borne fungal disease that affects both tomatoes and roses. When you grow tomatoes and roses in close proximity, the fungus can easily spread from one to the other. If your tomatoes develop verticillium wilt, your roses are at high risk of infection. There's also the matter of resource competition. Both tomatoes and roses are heavy feeders that require rich soil with high nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. When planted together, they compete aggressively for these nutrients. Tomatoes often win this competition, leaving roses nutrient-starved. Here's what to do instead. Keep your vegetable garden and rose garden completely separate, at least 20 feet apart if possible. Never plant tomatoes in former rose beds or roses in former tomato beds without first solarizing the soil. You protect both your roses and your tomatoes from disease transmission. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 5 companion plants are you going to add to your rose garden first? And have you been growing any of the 3 plants to avoid near your roses? Let me know in the comments. What's been your biggest challenge with rose pests or diseases? If you found this helpful and want to create a healthier, more beautiful rose garden, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with fellow rose enthusiasts. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. We've got more rose care tips, companion planting guides, and garden design secrets coming your way soon. Check out the related videos linked right here on the screen to dive deeper into topics like organic pest control and building healthy garden soil. Thank you so much for watching and being part of our growing community. Until next time, happy gardening!